My entitled cousin has a birthday sleepover that she proceeds to make hell happy New Year's everyone. I remember this story about a sleepover with my cousin that I'm no contact with. So to start off 2025 I want to tell you about this long drawn out story that I now laugh about. To get started, it was 2021. The pandemic in my area had technically ended. Me and my little cousin, who we will call EC, short for entitled cousin, were best friends. Throughout the pandemic I talked to her almost every day. She was pretty sad that 2020 she couldn't have a birthday party. I felt her pain because in 2020 I turned 13 and didn't get to have the huge party my family planned. So EC's mom had the bright idea to have a party for her daughter in 2021. We'll call her Mom EM, short for entitled mom. EM has raised EC as an only child because EC is technically an only child biologically. Her mom did an adult adoption to EC's older sisters that EM fostered when they were 12, those sisters are in their late 20s to mid-30s at that time. So as you can tell, she was raised mostly as an only child, but legally she's the youngest child. So day one of hell I showed up a bit late because me and my mom had a fight about a swimsuit. It's not very important to the story, but it will give context. The swimsuit needed to be washed according to my mom when it really didn't need to. It was clean. Because of the car we drove at the time it needed to charge because EM and EC lived very far and the battery to the car almost died. The charging process took 45 minutes and my cousin's house was 25 minutes away from the charging station. So I finally leave the charging station and head to my cousin's house. I got there and it was 8 p.m. Everyone had been there since 5 p.m. but everyone lived very close. So I entered the house being walked in by EC's sister. She has 3 older sisters, one is in the military, the other is in college, and the oldest is pregnant again at this time. They really don't have any purpose in the story, so I'll briefly mention them here and there. EC was mad about how late I was, which was understandable, but after explaining she softened up a bit. My mom left, so my cousin got the goodie bags for all of us. There was 4 other girls there and I'm the oldest. My cousin was turning 12, her friends were all 12 to 13. Red flag number 1 should have been the fact that none of EC's friends were there. None of them showed up. The girls there were all EM's friends' daughters who have met EC at least 4 times. All the girls were pleasant with EC, but they all wanted to talk to me. I'm not sure what happened earlier, but everyone was standoffish with EC. EC leads us to the bathroom and tells us we're all doing a face mask. All the girls were happy until EC started yapping. She grabbed her face wash and turned to one of the girls telling her she needs to use this wash because her face looks not the greatest. I told EC that's not very nice. Mind you, her mom heard this and said nothing. The girl said no because she's never used the face wash because she breaks out too easily. The girl walked off to get her own face wash. Then EC targeted me saying, "You also need to use this face wash because you're slowly starting to look like a witch with all those pimples." EM stepped in and told her to apologize. I was having a medical issue with my period that made me get bad acne. I was on my period for 2 months at that time and would have pimples a lot because of my period. She then called her friends ugly in different ways after placing their face mask on. It was annoying, but we sucked it up. The rest of the night was uneventful other than EC making a mug cake that she forced me to eat, which was annoying. We went to sleep watching the live-action Lion King. Day 2 of hell we had to get ready for the water park. We were pretty happy because it was going to be 100 degrees outside, so pretty hot. We had breakfast, which for the life of me I can't remember. I do remember there being orange juice on the table and EC demanding for us to give it to her now. In her own words she said, "Give me the orange juice right now, I am the birthday girl and can do whatever I want." Her mom told her to stop being rude. We gave her the orange juice just to get her to calm down. We all got dressed and honestly we all looked cute for going to a water park. EC took a while in the bathroom to get ready, and when she finally left the bathroom she said that all our outfits sucked and how she's so ready to change into her swimsuit at the water park. We thought she placed her clothes over her swimsuit, so we're all pretty annoyed now. So we finally got to the water park and for some reason all our cousins didn't show up. This is both our cousins through her mom and her cousins on her dad's side. It was weird, but that should have been red flag number 2. We waited outside the water park for it to open, which I'm glad for because within 20 minutes there were lines going down the street. We got bored waiting and started to play outside the gates of the park. We started pretending to be Karens. I was shocked that all of us liked our /entitled parents and Reddit videos, so it made this more fun that we got to act out our favorite Karens. EC of course wanted to be Karen and told us we can't be Karen, so we picked out other Karen type names, think Carol, Betty, etc. EC didn't like the way we played Karens and stomped off to spend time with her niece. We just kept playing because me and another girl had our phones but didn't want to drain the battery. Eventually the gates opened and EC decided that we're all good now. We're playing in the pool while her mom just chilled at the seats with her granddaughter. EC started insulting her mom for being cheap and not bringing enough money for food and making sandwiches for us. Remember, we are at a water park, food is expensive, a slice of pizza was $5 and it wasn't that big. EC then drags us to the only water slide in the park. There's mini water slides, but those are for toddlers and very small children. We get in line and all she did was complain till we got to the top of the slide. One of the girls that was at the party was in front of EC, and when EC realized she wasn't going to be first, she pushed her, which was dangerous because the steps were small and a little wet. EC then said, "It's my birthday, I can do what I want and I want to go first." We told her, "Don't push us on the stairs, we might get hurt." EC rolled her eyes, then got on the slide. We were so annoyed but accepted it. After getting into the other pool, which I drew out in the map photo above, we decided to have a race. This pool was pretty small and we really shouldn't have raced it. As soon as the race started, I was winning because I had long legs and arms and I was working out. EC got behind me and didn't want me to win, which I did. She grabbed my leg, which slowed me down, and scratched me. As soon as I touched the wall, she bit my leg. As soon as we got to the checkpoint, I screamed, "You bit me, you bit me, what the heck?" EC claimed she didn't while laughing, but to not look crazy I showed the bite mark and scratched marks from her. Everyone looked at her because why would someone do that? EC said, "Well, sorry, but you should have let me win because it's my birthday." I was weirded out by both this and something else she did earlier, and instead of telling her mom, we just moved on. EC made us do more laps, but I was tired and my leg hurt from the bite mark that faded and the reddish scratches that were healing on my leg. So I sat to the side till she dragged us to the biggest pool in the park. So for context, the big pool normally has a giant blow-up parkour set, but after the pandemic they got rid of it. So we just played in the pool. I'm not a strong swimmer and I have asthma, so I wasn't swimming too much because the deep ends has a giant drop from 4 feet to 6 feet to 12 foot etc. So I wanted to save my energy to try out the diving board and also the just in case I end up in the deep part of the deep end. EC got mad at me for not going to a deeper part of the deep end and had pushed me into a deep end. I got stuck and panicked. All the girls started panicking because I told them I can't really swim. EC got mad at me for just not swimming, and thankfully a random girl who joined us who was 14 or 15 years old grabbed my arm and pulled me into the 4-foot part of the pool. Everyone began to scold EC because what she did was very unsafe. I'm not sure why we didn't tell EM, but we just stayed with EC. I jumped off the diving board for the first time in my life and had fun. I was stuck for a while, but I managed to somehow swim too much the shallow part of the pool. It was embarrassing that I jumped off the smallest diving board and everyone jumped from the bigger diving board, but it was safest for me. EC demanded we test who could hold their breath the longest, and because of the panicking from earlier and the intense swimming I did from the diving board, I couldn't hold my breath that long. So I was underwater for about 20 seconds, and as soon as I lost my breath I moved to the steps far away from everyone to see who will lift their head up next. I also didn't drop to the ground like most of the other girls from the party because I knew I would lose my breath quickly. So imagine my shock when EC, who won the challenge, claimed I bit her when she was underwater. It was so stupid and nobody believed her, and EC said, "Look, she even scratched my legs too," as she shows faint line of nail scratches. The girl who saved me earlier said that's not possible because Op was standing and holding her nose underwater and not even close enough to scratch you. EC, Op moved to the stairs long ago. Due to the confrontation, EC began to cry claiming I bit her. I told one of the girls from the party to get EC's mom because EC started crying. EM came stomping over and said, "What did you do to her?" All the girls from the party including me started talking at the same time saying basically the same thing. Even the girl who helped me vouched for me. EM took crying EC with her back to the seat area where EC cried about how this was the worst birthday ever and how she wants everyone to go home. EM was so mad she didn't let us have our sandwiches. Thankfully we all brought cash, otherwise we would have gone hungry till we went back to EM's house. We all bought ourselves food and ate. The random girl that saved me and vouched for me joined us to get food. She apologized that my mom is like that and my sister is so bratty. I explained EM isn't my mom but my mom's cousin, and EC is my little cousin who has been bratty in the past but never like this. Which is true, I'm so used to her temper tantrums but never as bad as this. Most of the girls wanted to go home and even complaining about how they never liked EC and how they only came because their parents made them. I learned a whole new side of my cousin through the girls from the party that horrified me. One girl said she's glad she's leaving tonight due to something happening the next day. One of the girls secretly texted their mom through the other girl's phone to get her from EM's house. I decided not to say anything to my parents because we were in the process of moving and my mom was very tired and my dad was at work. As annoyed with my cousin, I also really wanted a cupcake that we ordered the night before from Everything Bundt Cakes and to celebrate with my cousin her birthday no matter how cruel she was. When I went to put my phone down after eating, EM confronted me again. So I told her why EC started crying even though we told her twice without the story changing. EM said, "It doesn't matter what she did, you made EC cry, and when she wakes up I want you to apologize." I really didn't care at this point and went back to the pool to see EC's pregnant sister glaring at me and the girls. It made us uncomfortable and I told the girls what happened. Once EC's sister left to spend time with her daughter, we all started talking about EC. As annoying as she was, we were excited to eat our cupcakes. So fast forward to leaving the park. For some reason we can't all fit into the car, which is fine. I wanted to ride with the girls from the party because we all got close and we're having a great time together. Well, EC hopped into the car with her sister and said, "Sorry, there's no room, you're going to ride with my mom." All the girls begged for her to ride with her mom so I could ride with them. EC ignored all the girls and pouted, saying, "It's my birthday, I can do whatever I want and I don't want to ride with Op," so I walked to ride with EM. I turned to see EC's sister glaring at me again. So I get in the car and it's very awkward, you could cut the tension with a knife. EM said, "I'm very disappointed in you, you're the oldest of the group and shouldn't be picking on your little cousin. You made her cry and ruined her special day and I want to know why. Why did you make her cry? Why were you so rude to her on her special day? Did you know she wants everyone to leave because of you?" M kept yapping from there. So from the began to tell her everything from the night before up till the moment she started crying. EM's only response was, "Well, next time you tell me when these things happen and you don't let it build up so much because you ruin my baby's day." We went to Everything Bundt Cakes and grabbed a huge stack of cupcakes and drove back to EM's house. I was confused why EM didn't bring in the cupcakes and I asked if she needed help bringing in the cupcakes and she said no. Before we went inside, EM grabbed my shoulder and said, "I want you to be nice to EC no matter what. If she does something you don't like, you come to me." All the girls showered in time it took for us to get the cupcakes and came back.